Stage 5 is through the northwest of England, a 170-kilometre race from Liverpool to Kendal. The first 50 kilometres follows the beautiful Lancashire coast before 3 Category 2 climbs in the Lake District. The last 2 are separated by just 4 kilometres before the downhill run to Kendal and another nasty uphill finish. Near the start in Crosby, Liverpool, you can find artist Anthony Gormley's intriguing Another Place, 100 cast figures spread over 3 kilometres of beach. Then the riders race through the Lancashire countryside and north to the finish in the pretty market town of Kendal, gateway to the Lake District. The yellow jersey has changed hands 3 times so far in this year's Tour of Britain. Adrian Palomares is out in front as they head from Liverpool to Kendal, but will he still be there at the end of Stage 5?
This is the start in Sefton Park, Liverpool, and still 92 riders left in this Tour of Britain as they roll out, but it's still very, very close indeed. There are 10 riders within 20 seconds of the yellow jersey, and David Blanco of the Duja Tavira team is only 1 second away from Adriana Palomares, who is the yellow jersey. So the Fuerteventura Canarias team need to be very, very vigilant today. And the sting in the tail comes right at the end of today's stage. In the final 10 miles, there are 2 second category climbs in the Eon King of the Mountains competition. But the hardest of all the ascents is Beast Banks, 17.5%, and that is the finishing straight. So it's going to be a very hard finish indeed. As usual, the children are all out to support the race as they just weave their way out to the edge of the city. And this is an early break that's already developing here, and Cavendish has read the move. So Mark Cavendish possibly thinking of his 11th win of the season, and that would equal, of course, the outright record of Alessandro Patacchi as a first-year professional. Now then, there's no problem here with this group. They're spinning along nicely. Cavendish has gone away, and he's also got Serov with him. Yellow jersey near the front, and the Fuerteventura are all packing closely on the head of the field.
Is that you? Throw your hand up, mate. Throw your hand up. Stop. I'll be there in a minute.
That's Neil Stevens, actually, the manager of the young AIS Australian team, and the mechanic who's getting a wheel ready. So I think one of his riders has had a puncture. Simon Clark, actually, is the man who's got the puncture, and he's going well. He's actually lying 7th overall in the race at the moment. Looks like it's going to be a new bike, so there's no wheel change here. Clark picks up a new bike and gets a hefty push away. And this always, of course, disrupts your rhythm, and it hurts the legs.
Yeah, and with Clark here being in the top 10 on GC, I'm sure he's going to have some team riders sent back to him.
Let's hear what
Zach,
Neil's got to say.
You've got to come back here for Simon, mate. You've got to come back here for Simon. Zach, come on. Zach and Johnny, where are you?
So he's calling Zach Dempster back and one of his teammates to then help Clark back up. This is the normal thing in stage race riding as we get back to the leaders. And look at Cavendish. He's licking his lips at the thought of a second stage victory, and he's going it alone. It's a long way on your own, Cav. You could do with some support. So Cavendish just hanging off the front of the group, and he's waiting for somebody to come up and join him.
Stay where you are, Johnny. Stay where you are, mate.
That's the hotspot points leader there. And that, of course, is Zachary Dempster, and he'd got in his wheel Clark, but these are the 2 clear leaders now. And Serov is 11 minutes behind on general classification, so he won't affect the yellow jersey.
We're not really allowed to. Yeah, we can. Yeah. Good work, mate. Bloody oath. That Burt racing in bits, we actually brought it back together there. Zach? Your turns brought that race back together. Unfortunately, that Burt race really good.
It was a bit heartbreaking dropping through all the groups. You have to go back.
Really good, mate. No, proud of you.
Well, that's Johnny Walker talking to Neil Stevens, the manager. Neil Stevens is a man who won a stage in the Tour de France before. Here are our 2 leaders, and they're going well. The Russian is a powerful young track rider, and that's Alessandro Serov, and with Cavendish this could be a handy move.
Yeah, definitely. What with Cav's sprinting ability, and Serov, I mean, he's one of the top Russian pursuiters, so he's a real powerhouse. So this is a nice little move for Cav.
These are the chasers, but they're actually 3 minutes and 16 seconds back. So it's a day then for Cavendish to pick up points in the hotspot sprint competition, and also for Serov to capitalise on more points in the King of the Mountains. But Cavendish will be out, of course, to try and take away a classification jersey. 65 seconds further back are the main peloton. So this is an intriguing stage, this penultimate leg up to Kendal. And remember, that ferocious climb right at the end of Beast Banks will sort them out. High speed as they're coming to the third sprint of the day, and that's at Hornby on 85 miles. And I can tell you that Mark Cavendish has picked up maximum points in the previous two. Now then, he's looking for more points as well on this one. And his tally at the end of the day, when he gets this 5, if he does get it, yes, it's easy, isn't it? That'll take him up to 22, and that means he will be the overall leader in the hotspot sprint competition. He's gone 2 ahead of Zachary Dempster. Now they're setting their stall out in the closing stages here for a tilt at a stage victory in Kendal. This is the group that they left, and they're still together, but making no inroads at all into the main peloton. In fact, I think there's a fair chance the peloton could actually pick those up before the finish. Now they're approaching the first of the concluding 2 climbs. This is Old Town, second category affair. So 6 to the leader over the top, and Serov settling down here to raise his game. And Cav, I think, looked to be in a little bit of trouble there. The Fuerteventura team are pulling the field along to defend the yellow jersey, and that of course is Adriana Palomares.
Yeah, today's stage got a real sting in the tail, and yeah, as we can see, Cav's been dropped. Probably not too surprising, but you know, let's hope that he can keep away from the bunch. I mean, if he does, that'll certainly be a poke in the eye to people that just class him as a sitting sprinter, that's for sure.
Well, of course, Cav has expended a lot of energy along the way by winning those 3 hotspot sprints. It's all a matter of, has he got any strength left in the tank to stay ahead of the main field? But Serov looks full of riding as he now settles down to consume the closing miles on his way to Kendal. It would be the second stage victory for a Tinkoff rider if he can nail this one.
Yeah, and Serov here, he really is motoring now. He's really got the bit between his teeth, and showing the strength that he's got.
The riders that he's left are now nearing the summit of Old Town. Here they are.
Yep, and these guys, they're coming on quick too. We've not seen Cav for a little while, so hopefully he's still a little way ahead and over the next climb.
Cavendish has already gone over the top of that climb. It was actually Guisinen that got third from Lund, as you could see on the caption. But now the Fuerteventura Canarias team realise that they've got to try and pull that group back, because one of the riders, Guisinen, is only 1 minute and 31 seconds back off the yellow jersey, and that is dangerous. So this is going right down to the wire in Kendal, and the pace is being lifted all the time. But Serov has got speed to spare here. The Russian, very, very powerful, approaching the end of Blease Hill. Then he's got a nice downhill section before he enters into the streets of Kendal. Took off at the right time, perfect time in fact. Saw that Cav was beginning to buckle a little bit and just applied the pressure, and now he's on his own. He can find his own rhythm, he's more comfortable. Right at the back of the group there is Anders Lund, Danish rider on the CSC team. And right at the front, you can see, is Floris Guisinen, who is rather keen to keep the pace high. But now we are into the streets of Kendal with the leader Serov, as the result is confirmed for you of that last mountain climb. And these 4, I can tell you, are getting ever nearer to Cavendish, and the peloton are getting ever nearer to those 4. So they could all come together before the finish. They're not going to catch this guy as he goes under the 1 kilometre sign. Get ready for the left-hander that'll line them up for Beast Banks. the 17.5% ascent, and it's the post office on Beast Banks where Postman Pat came from. Thought you'd like to know that, Rob?
Beautiful, Hugh. Postman Pat, my favourite.
Right, now just look here, just how low the gear is. Look at the cadence, Rob. That underlines how stiff this climb is.
Yeah, you know, he's not going very fast at all, and the motorbike and cars struggling not to stall themselves. So that just really shows the gradient, and at the end of the day, that's going to be tough.
It is tough, and he's forced out of the saddle already, but of course he has got the incentive of winning this stage, and when you've got the line just ahead of you, that of course draws you out and you find extra power. He's working hard, isn't he? The shoulders are rolling. Just look at this. It's a good job that he's got over a minute's cushion over his nearest challenger.
Yeah, you can just see the crowds. He won't be feeling much at all. They'll really be urging him on here.
Yes, he's got the line in his sights now, and I tell you, the crowds have turned out in their thousands in Kendal to support the Tour of Britain. Up and up it goes all the way to the line. He can see the finishing gantry ahead of him now. What a wonderful moment for any athlete, and he punches the air with delight. Alexander Serov, the Tinkoff rider, the 24-year-old Russian, takes the stage victory in Kendal, and there's Cavendish coming around the corner. You can see the motorbike in the distance, and that is the motorbike that is ahead of the next group, and it's going to be nip and tuck now up the final climb, and it's going to be really a question, has Cav got enough left in the tank to hold off the challenge of the main field? And here they are. It is getting very close. The chasers have been caught, and the whole peloton now are chasing down Cav. What has he got left? Here they come into the closing stages. We should see Cav. Here he is. The line can't come quick enough. He must be getting concerned. Oh dear. Is he going to hang on to second? It is going to be tight. Those weary legs. He asks for a little more power as he looks ahead for the line. This is Romain Fayou, the agritable French rider that's gone away. He's in the green jersey, and he's going to gain some valuable time here. He's chasing down Cav. Cav's just about going to make it. Cavendish gets second. Fayou gets third, and Rabon comes over the line fourth. And I think it was Garrido actually that finished in fifth place, but that is a very important finish. I saw the yellow jersey right up there as well, so Palomares was about seventh, so that's the place to finish, because that will mean he will hang on to his yellow jersey.
A second stage win for Team Tinkoff, with Mark Cavendish clinging to second place and Romain Fayou inches behind in third. Fayou moves into third in the general classification, with 3 riders within 3 seconds of each other and 14 riders now within 42 seconds of Adrian Palomares. Fayou retains the green jersey, and Mark Cavendish has taken the lead in the sprints competition by just 2 points.
I ended up in a break, but unfortunately it was 2 GC riders in the break, so you know, it was always going to be hard for it to stay away, so it was a case of attacking the break, which I tried until I finally got away with Serov, and yeah, he was just stronger than me. He was going like a motorbike, so yeah, I'm happy to get second behind Serov anyway, you know.